Rob Van Dam, listen to True Hill Heat. Pow.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Schiavone of All Elite Wrestling, and this is True Hill Heat, and I said it right, you motherfuckers.
Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for NJPW New Beginning in Osaka preview. Discussing the huge show this Sunday from Osaka Joe Hall. I am joined by my esteemed panel here. What a panel of NJPW media and fans here. I am joined, of course, by the person that we always talk about, New Japan Pro Wrestling, here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel with. It's your boy, Jay News.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I. I have returned from my sabbatical. It's time to talk New Japan. But SP3, let me not take too much time away from folks. Keep on in with the introductions.
And of course, we are joined by our third of our gang here that talk about NJPW. It is Sonal.
Hello. We are busy tonight. We've got a full house, and for the show that's happening, this is the perfect for people to chat about it.
Had to bring in a very special guest for a very big show on Sunday. This man is the voice, the person that I go to when I want to talk about NJPW, when I want to learn some information from a show, when I want to get his opinion. I will tell you, his Twitter account is the reason that I woke up this past weekend and I turned on NJPW World to watch Gabe Kidd and Hanare turn up at Kurgan Hall, because this man knows his graps. It's Ciaran. He is back. What's going on, sir?
I'm always happy to come on to True Hill Heat, especially when it's as awesome as a show as this one's looking out to be. I'm come representing. I'm ready to tell everyone why Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be tapping out the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
This man over here is talking blasphemy. How dare you?
Look, me and Zack Sabre Jr. are basically neighbors now. I'm like 10 minutes away from the Isle of Sheppey.
That is true. You guys are neighbors now. But thank you so much, Ciaran, for joining us. I know you do a lot of work over at WrestleInn, over at Fightful Overbooked. For anyone who's joining us live, who might not stay through the entire podcast and hear the outro, let everybody know all the great things that you're doing talking about NJPW.
Yeah, mostly it's my Twitter at KieranRH93, just posting everything and anything New Japan related. I just love it. I got the replica belt behind me. It's bigger than it looks. It's in the distance. Like over at WrestleInn at WrestleInn, we're doing tons of stuff. We are big on our Japanese wrestling, whether it's Joshi or New Japan and everything else. Tons of podcasts, no matter what you're interested in, especially like even Choco Pro. We go to Chocolate Square. We go to Ichigaya as well. Over on Fightful Overbooked, where SP3 is often there as well, as part of Bread Club alongside Matt from the Shining Wizards podcast. We talk about all things New Japan as well. It's purely dedicated to New Japan Pro Wrestling over on Bread Club.
Yes, doing great work all across the board. So check out Ciaran if you haven't already. And thank you guys for checking us out here for our preview. We appreciate y'all if you're joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Remember to show that appreciation back the simplest way possible. Drop the thumbs up on this video. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're new to the True Hill Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, sound off in the live chat. We love to interact with all of you. Sound off. We'll try to highlight as many of your comments as possible. But of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you can send a super chat donation. Those are so important to what we do, and we always appreciate the support. We got Alexander in the chat who says this new beginning gonna be hot. We also got Negro Buck in the chat. We got Nikki Boy who says, Ciaran, much love. I think Zack will beat Dragon, but tapping him out, ? I don't know about all that.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Look, if Zack Sabre Jr. loses to Danielson, man, I need to get this in quickly as well. It's my birthday Sunday as well. So it's the best possible birthday present for me.
You've got to do it now. Now there's even more pressure.
Exactly.
He has to win this.
Just adding to Zack's pressure, the biggest match of his career now with your birthday on the line, you know? We got Frantic World who says, what's up, guys? Sonal and chat. And I'll start with Sonal. Give us your 0 to 10, your buzz level for the new beginning in Osaka.
9, because there's always room for improvement as tomorrow comes and as I wake up on the Sunday morning. Yeah, I feel like they've really been doing well building up to these matches, like whether it's in the ring or we talk about Zack Sabre Jr. outside the ring in the post-match comments. I feel like we had a bit of a slow start to the new beginning tour, but then obviously the last show really hyped it up, and now I think whether you're a hardcore New Japan fan like us or whether you're just a bit chilled and you watch it casually, you can't not be excited after looking at this card.
Absolutely true. What about you, J News? 0 to 10, your buzz level.
I mean, the buzz was on a 10 when they announced that cage match, man. Mm-hmm. That's really what it was about for me. Will's last New Japan match here, United Empire versus the Bullet Club. That's what I care about necessarily. I mean, the rest of the card is good, don't get me wrong. Showcasing throughout the Road 2 shows, Hanare, doing a damn thing. Gabe Kidd out here just putting people on, the world on, to what we all know to be the greatest. It's been good, man. It's been good. This Okada Swan song's been very consumable, to say the least. I can't say it's been bad, because there's been other occasions when other wrestlers are leaving companies and stuff like that, and stuff just gets cheesy. This hasn't been too cheesy. So, yeah, man, everything's been good. Everything's been solid.
What about you, Ciaran? 0 to 10, your buzz level.
See, I want to say 8, 9, 10, but then we all get excited, but then we forget that in amongst all this excitement, there is El Fantasma and Hikuleo versus Chase Owens and Kenta. It's like the Gedo giveth and the Gedo taketh away. Like the dichotomy of Gedo in full show here.
But you've got to hope that it'll be a 10-minute at the most.
I hope. But no, Jay News on the money. Like that, as much as I've said about Zack Sabre Jr. and Danielson, it is the cage match. It's crazy that Zack Sabre Jr. and Danielson isn't the main event, but it shouldn't be the main event. Because everything surrounding this cage match has been perfect. There's so many stories going into this, and I think there's going to be so much stories coming out of this. I don't think War Dogs and United Empire leave the same way they go in. Right. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And there is so much stuff to talk about with the cage match, so we'll spend a little bit more time on that match more than the others. But let's go through the card. 8 matches on the card for this Sunday. Of course, you guys watching us live, keep sounding off in the live chat and give your predictions for these matches as well. We got the opening match, which we'll see Yo teaming up with Toru Yano to versus Suki Taguchi and Bolton Oleg, who is kind of the remaining of this last NJPW dojo class, kind of because Asuka Lobe, Yoda Nakashima, they just went on excursion. So Oleg feels like he's the last one left from that group, still in New Japan, still as a young lion, teaming up with Taguchi here to verse Yo and Yano. I will start with J News here. Who do you think picks up the win, and what do you think what's going to be next for Bolton Oakland now that Nakashima and Lobe is out on excursion?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, Oleg is the senior young boy at this point. He's still going to be there for a bit, just because out of the three, right, between Nakashima, and Oscar Lobe and stuff like that, he was the greenest, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot to pick up. From a personality standpoint, he's been really showing out, so that's been good. His in-ring timing has been getting better, but it's not all there yet. So there's still some work to be done for him there. But in regards to this match, it's gonna be comedy. It's gonna be pure comedy at the end of the day. So I expect some good laughs out of this match. Yo being who he is now, I think this is where he's found himself. Right at this point, being the comedy junior, and Yano doing Yano things, and Oleg just doing whatever Taguchi tells him to do. So it works out. It all works out. It all works out. If I got to pick a winner, I'm going with whoever doesn't have the young lion. So I'm going with
That's usually the smart pick, and I will agree with you. I'm going with Yo and Yano as well. Ciaran, what do you think about this match and Bolton Oakland, who you've been a fan of kind of since the beginning, since we've been talking about?
Bolton Oleg started following me the other day, and I was like, I think I was a bit more excited when when Will Ospreay and guys started following me. Man, I love this dude. Just the way that he's so fluent in the language, obviously, as well, which is it just gives him a leg up on everyone else that's coming into New Japan. He's just a beast. Like, I would love to see. Like, J News is right; he is very green. It's kind of endearing, though, how green he is.
The way they've constructed it around him, it's been very, very good.
He's like a child in like a giant's body, like when he stomps around the ring and everything. He's so endearing, like just by being himself in the ring. And I love him for it. But I'm big things for Oleg in the future. Absolutely, I'd put all my chips on Oleg right now. But Yo and Yano, of course, winning this with J News like spot on again. Yo is really coming to himself this part of the year with more of the character work,
showing off more personality. Sonal, finish us off. Who you got?
I'm a Roppongi 3K t-shirt on. Just echoing what you guys have said. Oleg is really good. Like Ciaran said, like the Japanese, like as someone who's learning Japanese, his fluency never ceases to shock me, and it really gives him an added connection to the crowd. Something that I've never seen with a Gaikokujin young lion before. It's so endearing. And I personally think even though it's the first match, I think whatever we see from Yo probably might set up for what we might be able to expect in Best of Super Junior. Because I know there's been a lot of talk about that, and obviously with Wato out, I think Yo might be one of those guys that they try and go to for a bit of safety, because he can put on great matches. And like everyone said, his character, well, some people who might not be New Japan fans properly don't get it. It's the right place for him. I think he's the most, he's having the most fun he's ever had, and he's the most comfortable, even if he's in those opening matches.
Yeah, feels more comfortable in his own skin. Second match here, we got another tag team match, y'all, as we're going to see former IWGP World Tag Team Champions Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi going against United Empire's Great Okan and Callum Newman. Who you got here, Ciaran? What do you think about what's been going on with United Empire? Maybe spill off into this match here?
Yeah, I think Great Okan in his backstage comments recently, I didn't watch the actual subtitled one, so it's just a translated one on the NJPW 1972 Twitter, and it was something like he's not going to be as bothered about representing the United Empire flag anymore, or something like that. There was a bit of Great Okan getting thrown into the mix about the outcome of this cage match here. But speaking on Callum Newman as well, I can't believe how good he is now. Coming from the UK independent scene, I've watched him for many years, and he was just flippy guy number 522. There was nothing special about him over here. And then he has a couple of months in the dojo, and he's stepping in ring with the greatest wrestlers in the world. and now he's just a different beast. He's a different animal, and he is looking fantastic. And that debut when he got into the ring for that first time, Korakuen and Horn, he hit those ropes, and the crowd lost their mind because the Prince of Pace is a very up name. Like from that moment, he was a made man in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But yeah, of course, they're going to take the loss. They're going up against Bishamon, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's kind of like the J News rule with the first matchup. Callum Newen is here to look good and take the loss. So yes, I'm going with Bishamon as well. Sonal, who you got?
Yeah, I have Bishamon again. Like Callum Newman, I knew he'd have really good potential. Like when he came to New Japan, I've seen him on the British independent scene, and I knew that for many people coming into New Japan, having time with the dojo, and especially with him in the Empire, the guys in that faction would help him grow. But he has been so monumental to this whole storyline. Even though he's not in the cage match officially, he has been there. He has been building himself up. He is still being built as a junior, but yeah, going against some of the best heavyweights. So Bishamon are going to get the win, but I think, like every match, Callum Newman is going to keep growing and growing on the audiences, and every minute he's in a ring with veterans like Yoshihashi and Goto is just going to like increase his experience and make him the star he will be, and probably a future champion.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a breakout in the Best of Super Juniors the way he's been going so far this year. J News, who you got?
From the match perspective, I'm with everybody else. It should be Bishamon to win this match. To piggyback off of what everybody else was saying about Callum Newman, I mean, there's a reason as to why Will Ospreay chose to sponsor this young man at the age of 16 out of his own freaking money and out of his pocket. You know what I'm saying? It's the dude's got tremendous talent, and like Ciaran said, the whole Prince of Pace thing, it's not a gimmick. That is not a gimmick. You can see it in the ring, how fast the dude moves and how smooth he is, dude. It's like it's very, very cool to see. So big future for that young man coming up. Hopefully he does well in the Best of Super Juniors, but yeah, he'll be looking up at the lights here. So that's
he is marking himself as a heavyweight now, we should say.
Really?
Backstage comments, he's saying he's no longer a junior, and he's a big boy. He was always like that Will Ospreay type of, he got the height, and it's just a matter of the build, and he's getting a bit of chunk to him, slowly but surely.
Right. I mean, hey, wherever it ends up, if he takes over, I mean, if eventually he takes over Will's spot, that'll be something to see.
Hey, I would argue he gets more height on the Oscutter than Will did in his young days.
I mean,
just saying, just saying. Just putting it out there. I might not be the only person. Just wanted to put it out there into the world. But it's about that time, Sonal, J News. We go through this all the time. Ciaran, we used to go through this on Ace Techers. We got to talk about House of Torture. House of Torture will be in action here as Evil, Ren Narita, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi go against Hontai, Shoto Aminu, El Desperado, Honma, and Tiger Mask. Who you got here, Sonal? Your favorites of House of Torture, or are you going with Hontai?
I mean, I don't. Why do they keep giving us this? This is not what we want. This is not what needs to be on this card. Why was this not like the first match? I mean, I get this storyline's going for, but we don't need it. As much as, hey, you guys know I love House of Torture, so guess what? They're going to get the win. Because sadly, I mean, it's a toss-up. Either Tiger Mask or Honma's going to get pinned. But hopefully we get to see a Kokeshi out of it, so... That's the only saving grace I've got, and that Desperado wears his red gear. That's all I've got.
I love how, like, with New Japan, predicting the card is pretty much this. If it's a title match or a singles match, you're trying to figure out who needs to win more. If it's a multi-man matchup, you're trying to figure out who's going to take the loss. And
it's like Young Lions, Honma, Junior Heavyweights.
It was like Honma and Tiger Mask. Man, that team got two options to lose. Yeah, House of Torture is winning. Ciaran, what have you been thinking about House of Torture since Ren Narita joined with the group, and who do you think wins this match here?
I was very high on Ren Narita joining House of Torture. Like the second coming of Shibata is not working for the dude. His strikes are frail and like weak. So I was very up for it. Since he's joined, not so much, I suppose. Like I've not. It kind of is what it is. But I think it's just crazy. Like we as Western fans are like, why House of Torture? Why why are they always in these positions and everything? And then like the Tokyo Sports like fan vote awards come out, and they're like the third most popular, fourth most popular faction in Japan among fans that voted. There's such a like different viewpoint on the House of Torture between the actual Japanese audience and us. It's very interesting. Like they're popular, they work. There's a reason they're getting booked, as much as we hate it. I think they are better now than they were this time a year ago, 2 years ago. Like much like they're finding their place and their groove. They have their moments, whereas before it was just all bad. Now you get some spots of happiness in the bad.
You get about 10 minutes of maybe 5-7 minutes of clean wrestling, maybe from like Yoshinobu Kanemaru, to show there's a glimmer of hope.
You know, I didn't have an issue with House of Torture until that damn Evil and Sonata feud. Like the fact they went back to that feud after the G1, I feel like you can point to that of why fan interest went down after the G1. It's like, this is your world title feud?
Do you know what? They need like a complete like rebrand. They can still be House of Torture and be healed, but they need to play not on the cheating and the shit wrestling, but the characters within it. You know, like Sho being like slightly crazy and Narita going on that. If you can play on that, they will be great heels. Just we don't need like 20 minutes of a match and we go, all right, well, so around the 7-minute mark, Dick Togo will come and then the rest of them. Give us something unexpected. Like having them properly wrestle, because you have some great wrestlers. Sho, Kanemaru. Do you know what I mean? Narita, you can build him up. Narita is not going to grow if you keep him in that style of House of Torture match.
I think they're at their best when they just go totally overboard and there's like 500 run-ins and there's like 100 chairs being used. When they just go like, they basically forego the wrestling and they just go stupid and over the top. And it's like 10, like they done it. I think like Mark Davis in the New Japan Cup when he beat Evil. Yeah, and it's like that was fantastic because all the United Empire one by one they all came in to level the odds and the crowd lost their mind and you get invested into it a bit more. Versus when it's just House of Torture beating down one guy, it's like, well, this isn't very fun.
It's also unrealistic because you're going to tell me that like every time the House of Torture all come out, nobody in the back, even if you're in a different faction, you don't want to just come out and beat the shit out of them.
And it's also because like that was a year ago. That's a year ago that Mark Davis and Evil match. Now you have to live through a whole year of House of Torture doing that same style of matchup where sometimes there's not the babyface save. Like I would say like on the second viewing, the Kanemaru and El Desperado, as well as the Shooter and Narita matches from Kurgan Hall on the Road 2 shows were good matches. But I had to watch them a second time because the first time I realized I did not pay attention until the interference came because I was like, I know it's going to come. So yeah. Like, why should I pay attention? I was on my phone. I was doing, I was like, I'm not going to pay attention until the interference comes. Like they have made it that I'm numb to good wrestling. And it was good wrestling before the interference came with both matches. And I was completely numb to it the first time watching.
They need to change up their cheating tactics as well. Like, give us something different. Don't just come and jump on it. Like, you know, like them at the start when it's fun, when the lights went down and stuff. Like, but then they kept doing it and doing it and doing it. You're like, it's not fun anymore.
J News, who do you have here after we just broke down the House of Torture paradox?
I'm with my homie, the Negro Buck. I cannot choose the House of Torture to win anything. I am going with Hantai here. Condolences, Negro Buck. We with you, brother. But let me say this, man. Let me say this. I'm with Ciaran on the whole Narita thing. I said this months ago. Like, the faction warfare thing, I get it. This is what New Japan has been for decades now. But Red Narita would be better served, better off being akin to mid to late early 90s heel Chono than freaking Shibata. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. Character development is not the New Japan way of life. So what we have here, is this whole, whether the Westerners think that House of Torture sucks and the Japanese crowd thinking or liking them, right? They're the fourth most popular faction there. They need to change stuff up. Like, take heed of the name of the group. House of Torture. Do torturous things. Don't do annoying things. It's just, you know, if you're gonna make people submit or tap out, that's torturous. Hang people up in the ropes. Do evil intended things. Like, take that name and do something with it. But it's like, it's just not watchable half the time. And then the whole Dick Togo, Dick Punch thing, like, that's freaking Kaientai days. Like, it's been 30 years. Like, let's get out of this already, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Hansai for the win. I got Shooter doing some things, and he'll probably end up pinning Yujiro. That's my pick right there, man.
I thought Jay knew you were going to
That's not
surprise
so
me and
fair.
say Honma was going to pin like Evil or something and get a shot at the Never title. I was like, oh, that would
Absolutely.
be different.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They are building to Shooter and Evil for
Mhm.
Sapporo, which ruined one of my booking because I'll mention that in a bit here. But let's go to the fourth match here, our final multi-man matchup on the night, as it's going to be Los Ingonables de Japon's Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi versus just five guys: Sanada, Taichi, Yuya Uemura, Doki, and Taka Michinoku. These two groups have obviously been feuding since before Wrestle Kingdom. You got the big matchups coming up in Sapporo, as it will be a singles match series between the two groups. But Ciaran, I'll start with you first, where this is another one that feels like there's a disconnect, where the Japanese fans seem to be still very much into, Naito, Sanada, the story that they have, and LIJ and just five guys, where it seems like a lot of Western fans are just like, I mean, as far as like me, for instance, I'm like, why is this still going on?
Yeah, the stars and the vocal point of this feud are Yota Tsuji and Yuya Uemura. It is not the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. It is not Tetsuya Naito, and it is not Sanada. These two going out from Wrestle Kingdom, of course, the match there, upping the ante. They're getting more volatile, they're getting more violent in all these matches, and now the revelation that they're going to be having a hair versus hair match, which will be one of the biggest kayfabe tragedies in professional wrestling. Not enough people appreciating how luxurious Yota Tsuji's hair, Yuya Uemura's hair is. Sorry, everyone's saying Yota Tsuji can't lose his hair. I don't want to see Yuya lose his. Wow, that's a tongue tie.
That is.
But yeah, no, like like Naito's trying to spice it up, saying like the loser of this match shouldn't be able to enter the New Japan Cup because then there's a risk of this match happening again, which nobody wants, and Naito appreciates. The fans don't want that. But, he's pointing out the fact that Sanada, as usual, is staying coy and he's staying quiet. And as much as Naito tries, Sanada is who he is. And you can't fault him for that. He's a silent boy.
It's like, dude, like, you didn't learn your lesson from the Wrestle Kingdom build when we literally had the lead commentator on New Japan Pro Wrestling up on our channel basically saying, I wish Sanada would have talked more in the build-up. Jay News, what do you think about their feud coming out of Wrestle Kingdom, and who do you think wins here?
I think Ciaran's spot on. This is all about Yuya. This is all about Yota at the end of the day. I tagged you and Sonal both with the exploding head emoji the other day, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Hair versus hair. We're in this is pre-Fantastica Mania. We're in Mexico. Hair versus hair thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's I don't know when the last time that even happened in Japan was, to be quite honest. But
didn't they say Suzuki and Goto?
Suzuki,
yeah,
so. Suzuki and Goto.
Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah,
I was there for that. That was cool.
Nice.
So it's been a while, and then secondarily, to Ciaran's point, like, just five guys. Yuya Uemura, those are the hair product guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the commercials going. On Twitter, by the way, they got the hair commercials going and stuff like that. Tsuji's main is man. Come on now, like, what are we doing to these guys? So I don't know. At the end of the day, it's their feud. Sanada's still being quiet. Like, I'm at this point because I've been shooting in the gym with Sanada forever. We all know this. I'm at this point where it's like, it's not indifference, but it's like, if he's in a match, I'll watch it, but I won't have any fervor in my heart for it because it's like there's something missing. There's always going to be something missing in the match, unfortunately. And I'm just not going to drop him off of my top because I've been riding with Sonata for a minute, but it's like I don't expect any emotional attachment to it anymore. And Naito's out here, man. He trolling the hell out of everybody, man, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that, being a troll champion that he is, but I'm not sure how long he has left, man. That body's is worn, so it's depending on what his next match is going to be. I'll have a better inclination of like who his next challenger is going to be and what and how this reign's going to go. But for now, he's just trolling the hell out of everybody, and I can appreciate that stuff, man. But first, how many times have we seen this match in the last 2 months now?
It's been a lot.
It's
been throughout the whole road to New Beginning, the road to Tokyo Dome. They were doing this on like World Tag League. Like it's been a while. I do agree with you guys though. Yuya and Yoda Tsuji have kind of been bringing the intensity to this whole thing.
I feel
feels like so long ago Takumi Shinobu got that win at New Year's Dash.
I know, right?
Hey, that's the best moment at New Year's Dash.
Yeah. To finish off this, I feel like when I have these conversations with folks, it's like, oh, but this is New Japan. They always have these multi-man matches. There's a reason as to why I've always been saying that this needs to stop. This needs to stop because of this. They have all these Road 2 shows, and in a clump, in a week's time or 10 days' time, they have the same match 6 or 7 times. Like it's and they're not house shows; they're all televised at the end of the day. So it's like we get to watch them. It's different if it's like for example, when we talk about WWE and their house shows, they're not televised. We know the matches happen, but we don't watch them unless they're live. So it's like, man, it's like it didn't happen, but now they're happening all the time. So it's just no, it's too much. It's too much.
I feel you, and it is too much with LIJ and just 5 guys. So hopefully after Sapporo, we're done with that. And something else we're gonna be done with after Sapporo. It's not gonna rain anymore in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as the Rainmaker Katsuhiko Okada will be finishing up in Sapporo, but he has his final encounter in an NJPW ring with the ace Hiroshi Tanahashi. These two men had their epic first encounter for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship back at the New Beginning in 2012. And now 12 years later, 2024, they have their final encounter here. Okada owns an 8-4-2 record, I believe, against Tanahashi. He has 8 wins to Tanahashi's 4 wins. So, Ciaran, first time that we're able to kind of ask you about this. What do you feel about Okada leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling and this match?
I think the longer it's gone on, the more you've seen some fans, like social media, podcasts, whatever, kind of try and twist it and be like, oh, it's kind of good Okada's leaving. Like, hurry up with the tour and everything. Like, get over it and like all this stuff. And it's like, there is no positive twist to Okada leaving New Japan. There is no good thing. There's no, it opens a spot at the top of the card. Okada hasn't been at the top of the card for the past year. There's no, like, when he went Balloon Okada, he was away from the top of the card. He's not there all the time. And when you want him there, he can be there. There is no positives to this news. It's scary because what is it like, it's been talked about ad nauseum. What does it mean for the future of Japanese wrestling? No one's safe. Like, why it makes it difficult. Like, should I get invested in these guys? Are they going to up and leave? And, it's not a reason to not get invested in Okada. He's been there for probably 14 odd years by when you include his young lion time, something like that, I'm sure. But yeah, like, this is the perfect last singles match, of course. Like, arguably, for many, I'm sure they would say this is the greatest feud in professional wrestling. How many people have had this many high level matches in this many in this many big occasions for top titles and delivered every single time. And SP3 set the record, and they've faced each other like 15 times or something like that. It's generational. There won't be anything like this again in professional wrestling. I am interested to see what Okada's final match or matches will be. I'm not sure if he has 1 or 2 left after this, because this would be the perfect swan song for Okada. But as well, I think it's kind of, people are upset. Why did he not lose the titles to TMDK? I'm not saying Fujita should have pinned Okada. That's absurd. But Ishii could have easily taken a pin from a Shane Haste or a Mikey Nichols. But, that was kind of weird. And it's like, well, Okada doesn't need to put over Tanahashi. Like, but in the same vein, should he be getting a win over Tanahashi at this point? Like, it's an interesting one. I'm very intrigued to see how this one will play out.
I am very interested who's going to get the win in this one here. I know it's going to be emotional. I know there's going to be tears in a lot of eyes, including Sonal's. Who do you think is going to win? And how are you kind of a couple of weeks after the first time I asked you about Okada leaving?
We still don't talk about it. It's still like a surreal thing. I like to think it's fine. We've still got 2 matches after this to come, and we don't have to say goodbye to the Rainmaker just yet. But no, there are going to be tears from me. Tanahashi is going to cry like there's no tomorrow.
Yes,
he's a very emotional man. It's like when Okada cried, it was like quite a shock. But when Tana cries, it's like he cries all the time, so it's like expected. Obviously, everyone's talking about how like it was weird that TMDK didn't win. I think, and I've said this, I think I might have said this on Ace Techers, I think that is a plan. So these next 3 matches, everyone's just going to beat Okada. Tanahashi's going to beat Okada. Then I think they're going to have 2 young guys who are going to beat Okada. I think they were like, oh, okay, he can relinquish the belts. And I was like, oh, okay, he's going to go like at the top of his game. But I'd kind of like it if just like towards the end of it, he just loses. And he starts with Tanahashi, who's like, I'm the president now. I won a title. I'm now going to be Okada, who's left. And I just think, personally, I think that'd be the best, just especially to lead on to like the next 2, where I hope he puts over young talent. But yeah, there is no positives in Okada leaving. Like, well, I don't know who would even think that. Like,
I haven't heard anybody who's like ecstatic, and there's
there's people who the diehard WWE and AEW fans who want Okada.
Oh,
to go.
that makes sense, man. If you don't watch New Japan and you watch AEW or WWE and you're excited about the prospect of getting Kazuchika Okada, more power to you. I'd be excited too. But if you're a New Japan fan, there's no positive.
How dare you? How dare you if you're a New Japan fan?
There's not the optimism that there was a little bit of optimism when the Elite left in 2019, because you had Kota Ibushi was heating up, Jay White was heating up, you still had Naito, you still had Okada, you still had Tanahashi, you still had a year and a half left of his prime. So there was a lot more optimism there. There was optimism when AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura left, because you had Kenny Omega in the junior heavyweight division. You had new guys coming in like an Ospreay and Ricochet and all these guys. Like, you were fine in 2016. You were fine in 2019. I don't feel as fine about New Japan in 2024 losing Okada. Jay News, who you got here in this matchup, Okada or Tanahashi?
So before I say that, I have a question here, because sometimes New Japan does put the cards out a bit beforehand, but I haven't taken a look. Have Okada's last 2 matches been decided?
No,
they have not.
I like to think that after this Tanahashi match, Kaito Kiyomi is going to come and just like beat him up.
That's my prediction. My prediction is that Kaito Kiyomiya is coming out to challenge him for Sapporo.
We're on the same page. So I think that the idea in my head is that this match, I feel like they can go a very unique way with this match, right? It'll be emotional. Don't get me wrong. Tana's going to cry. Maybe Okada cries by the end. Who knows? And whatnot. But the last 2 Okada matches can lead New Japan into a new foray. No doubt they have the Reiwa Musketeers. I'm not calling them the 3 Musketeers, because there's more than 3 in my estimation. But the Kiyomiya thing is important to me. If New Japan can land that dude full time, the passing of the torch moment can be done before Okada leaves. So, with that being an idea, Okada can win this match and take that TV title off of Tana.
He's not first enough for the TV title.
Oh, he's not? Okay, so it's a non-title match? Nah, scrap that. But anyways.
This is not a title. What are we talking about?
But anyways, so if it's not title, yes, so Tana wins at the end of the day. But Okada on his way out should be putting over younger guys. But to Sonal's point, to your point, SP3, the Kiyomiya thing is key. Because if New Japan can sign him, he's now at the top of the card at the end of the day with his skill set and his presentation and everything else in between. You know, not to say that he's going to take over for Okada, but you know, it's a good place to start. And then he joins the rest of the pack of the shooters and the Naritas and the Sujis and the Uemuras and everybody else in between. So New Japan's not left in the dust completely. You know,
I think as well. They need obviously I think they need a big player to come in, like some excitement, a Kiyomiya, a Nakajima, whatever. But what's scary to me is they're losing Ospreay and they're losing Okada. And those are probably, Okada definitely the biggest paycheck in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
I was told Will Ospreay is very far behind. He was on Okada level money. Is that these guys are leaving? How much does that free up? And yet there's how much contract news was coming out these past couple of months that saying like nearly every War Dog was out of contract. And I've spoken to people and they're like saying they're not getting offered, they want to stay and they're not getting offered the money they want. And these are the guys you're kind of banking on at this moment. Maybe some people that just had a fucking barn burner in Korakuen Hall and set the world on fire. And like they're not getting offered the money they want. They want to stay. They want to wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but they got WWE and AEW saying, do you want to earn some easy money? Which upsets me. Like you just freed up all this fucking money, man. Let's give it to the guys. Build the future.
So Ciaran, here's and this is more of a conversation about just Japanese wrestling as a whole, right? Like the money's not there like it is on the Western
absolutely
side.
not.
So they're basically Japan is from a wrestling structure. They're basically a minor leagues for Western wrestling. At the end of the day, these guys will get paid not badly. They'll get paid a decent wage until guys reach their peaks, because guys reach their peaks in Japan all the time, and then they're gonna have to leave for more money. Because at the end of the day, you have to be compensated for the work that you do, you know, especially at the level that these guys are getting to. And that's it's sad, but it's been the rigmarole and the go around since the inception, since I've been watching Japanese wrestling. It's been that way.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sad to lose the wrestler. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for the human being to go and earn that fucking money they deserve.
Yeah.
Like you have to, I kind of have to split the different, like the art from the artist, I suppose, style thing. Like I will hardly watch Will Ospreay wrestle now because I don't watch AEW. So I'm very sad that I will not see Will Ospreay putting on bangers in Japan. But at the same time, I'm so happy for Will Ospreay to go and get paid absurd money in America. Like more.
That's the only thing with Okada is like Okada's not going for the money because we've just
not so much Okada. Like, bro, you're rich. Like your wife probably earns more money than you, bro. Like
she definitely
she's more famous than you in Japan. Like you don't need the money, but for Okada, he's getting money, and it's an entirely new challenge.
Yeah, but Ospreay. Like at first I was angry. I was like, no, but then like I get it. Like it makes sense. Like why would you not want guys you watched from when they were wrestling in the independents here to see them basically being fought over for like these huge companies? Okada's still slightly better because obviously, you know, don't need the money. Guys driving flashy cars even without the New Japan check. Like he don't need them. But you know, I still get it. Okada wants to see different opportunities. I respect that. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it though.
Yeah, it's been more like anger than sadness over Okada for the double reason of he doesn't need the money, and neither WWE nor AEW needs Okada. Like it's not like they need him. They don't need him. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Okada getting the win with putting out the hope that he's going to put over a young guy in Sapporo.
But you don't think Tanahashi's gonna put himself over? He's gonna be like, might as well.
I dread that. I dread that.
I'm not against it.
I'm not against it either.
Like the reverse of what happened 12 years ago? Like
yeah. Retribution now.
Okay. He was like, hey, you do the job on your way out. Thanks, pal. We got Alexander in the chat. He says, I heard some alliances of New Japan and some other Asian companies. Maybe it is a way to get more money. There is that show coming up in May with all the major Japanese promotions coming together. Could you see something like a like a Japanese NWA of the top promotions coming together to keep and retain some of these promotions in the future, y'all?
They did that, right? With the 9 companies and whatnot. I think the announcement came out like a month ago or something.
Yeah, like the joint one with all like the top.
Yeah, but they haven't done anything with it necessarily.
They just announced the show in May.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a political thing than it is an actual, like, let's put on shows together. Of course, they're going to do this show, but it's definitely more of a taking care of the talent and political style thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we also got Frantic World who says Okada is going to bring big business to the USA. Before we move on to the next matchup, where do you think Okada is going, Ciaran?
I think if I was Okada, I would go WWE. I feel this AEW can't match. Look, I've kind of been like checking out some WWE YouTube videos with all this Cody Roman Reigns stuff because it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first time I've kind of checked into WWE in probably 3, 4, 5 years. But like what blew me away is during the whole when Cody said he's not going to challenge Reigns and The Rock came out, it's just how big everything is in WWE. Like Cody had Pyro go off for like 10 minutes. I swear to God. Like it's absurd. And like AEW, I just can't think they can't match the presentation of WWE. Nobody does WWE better than WWE.
Of course.
And I think Okada, with that style of presentation, with that beast behind him, it works a lot better in WWE than kind of the alternative. I don't think Okada is an alternative. Okada is wrestling. Like he's not for the alternative AEW. He for me, he suits WWE. And also, I really, really love the idea of Okada and Nakamura winning the tag titles.
I mean, Okada won the Never Six one. We thought he'd never do tag wrestling ever. Like
this is how you know Ciaran doesn't watch WWE. Nakamura don't win things. He just presented better, and people like, oh, Nakamura's getting pushed. Name me the big Nakamura win that he's had in the last couple of months. No, but even people that watch every minute of WWE can't tell you that answer.
The thing is, I was like totally like, oh, it'd be cool to see Okada in AEW, but like, yeah, similarly, like, my friend said that WWE, because that's what he watches, has gone like on the up, and I kind of think, if Okada goes to AEW, we've seen some of the matches. I feel like but going to WWE, I feel like it'd be something completely new. Like there are so many people that he could wrestle. And like, yeah, he's not a kind of guy that would go on the outside. Imagine him. Like I would watch WrestleMania if I could just see Okada's. I've not watched it in like 6-7 years, but if they said Okada is on WrestleMania, I'll watch that.
There you go, Okada the draw. Now let's talk about the matchup that kind of is like the speed bump in all the great matches to end the show. As we have our good friends, the Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo defending the IWGP Tag Team Championships against the Bullet Clubs, Kenta and Chase Owens. These two teams went at it in Nagoya, I believe, with God getting the win to retain the NJPW Strong Tag Team titles. Now they go at it for the IWGP Tag Team titles. J News, who you got?
I got the champs retaining here. Simple enough for me. I mean, I don't know what to say about Kenta anymore. I just don't. We might get a decent match out of him sometime down the line. Maybe. I don't know. As for the crown jewel himself, he's serviceable, but he ain't winning nothing, so God for the win. God for the win.
Sonal, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, this is for the IWGP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think if it was the Strong, I might be like, because they obviously don't like, if that was the case, I might be like, oh, maybe Kenta and Chase, because I feel like it's not like a big thing. But yeah, Janie is right. With Kenta just being Kenta at the moment, like, okay, I've still got to admit, his post-match comments are still like hilarious, and I watch for the sake of that. But he's not fit for that, and to see them two in IWGP, especially because I can say this, like I've said this the past few years, the IWGP tag titles have really been a lot more consistent than they were. Like we've had some amazing champions with that. So to suddenly, because we've all spoken to God and they've all spoken about their growth as a team, and like Hikuleo saying how like he even admitted, like before he was with that ELP, he was very one-dimensional. So to see this growth and then for New Japan to suddenly stop it, like they are the 100th IWGP Tag Champions. They are the perfect people for that. And the fact we get to see Hikuleo grow and like ELP, the crowd love him. You can't tell me that like coming out of WrestleMania, you give them that big match. They've had some very good bouts that you're just going to take it off them. No, like God have been the most surprising tag team and they need to continue because like they're massive baby faces. Everybody is obsessed with them. And like, yeah, I think let's just have a nice bit of tag enjoyment.
It's kind of crazy that even the thought of Okada and WWE has Sonal calling Wrestle Kingdom WrestleMania. Karen.
This is all your fault. You have me talking about it, and I was talking about Okada, and now I've got to make a stop. I never watched the movie. I don't know where that came from.
Karen, who you got, God or Bullet Club?
I want to give a quick shout out to Connor Mays in the chat. Big friend of mine, a friend of WrestleInn. Absolutely love Connor. Thanks for watching, mate. I didn't watch the Strong Tag Title match. Like, I was like, I don't need to watch this.
You didn't. You did not.
I'm not going to miss anything. I just fear that because they like Kenta and Chase losing challenges for both tag titles, I've just got a dread in my bones that they could leave with the tag titles, and I think it will take, like Sonal was saying, how much work has gone into these tag titles between Bishamon and Aussie Open were temporary but great, and TMDK being the challengers who should be holding the tag titles right fucking now, to be honest. ELP and Hikuleo being a surprising delight while Tag League was stacked. Like, they've done so much to make this tag division for the first time in years feel important, and I feel like they wash all that away if they put these tag titles on Chase Owens and Kenta. So I'm hoping for an ELP and Hikuleo win. I will be blowing up my birthday candles, and that will be my wish. But yeah, no, I fear that Bullet Club will be walking away with the titles, unfortunately.
I feel like the only way that anything could have been accepted for like Kenta to win a title would be if he went after the open weight with someone like Taiji Ishimori. Like,
no,
do you know what I mean?
That was
like,
years ago. We did that. We already did that. We already did him with championships.
If you had to do it, like, I'm just saying, like, that would be like a it'd be a different team. It'd be nice to have like an actual open weight team, like an officially open weight team.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not wishing it on anyone. Calm down, SP. I'm not saying like that, but I'm saying if that is the case, rather than like Kenta and Chase winning the IWGP ones, you could have had like, if you had to put it on Kenta and Ishimori winning the open weight ones.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I'm just gonna go with God because you two have just put the thought of a Kenta and Chase
Owens. The fear of God inside.
Yeah, like I did not. I looked at the card. I did not have a second thought. Just picking God, but y'all gave me second thoughts. J News, who you got?
No, I got God winning here. I'm always, when I'm sitting here doing these podcasts with you guys, I'm always reading the comments to see as to what everybody's saying and stuff like that. And some folks have some interesting things to say about some teams that they hope that they want to join New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was Connor Mays' brother, Sunshine Machine. Listen,
yes.
I'm up for that. Yes. I'm up for
Please.
that. I'm up for that.
Give us that, New Japan.
I'm up for that, man. GYV as well, man. Those grizzled young man, we've been fans of GYV forever, man. Zach Wilson he's a freaking treasure, by the way. Gibson, sorry, Zach Gibson. He's a freaking treasure at the end of the day. So yeah, man, look, God for the win here. I ain't got much to say about the Bullet Club guys. I still have hope in my heart to see before it's all said and done, before he retires, one final hard-hitting Kenta match. I have that.
You might be waiting a long time for that.
Don't hold your breath, sir. But we should expect a hard-hitting and technical wrestling masterclass, as it's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. going one-on-one with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And we will ask Ciaran first who he wants in this Wrestle Dream rematch.
Let's fucking go, man. Look, I obviously I'm all tangled up now. Mate, you know, but like Zack Sabre Jr., if Will Ospreay didn't exist last year, Zack Sabre Jr. was Wrestler of the Year for me. This is my go-to when it comes to Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson, who's the better technical wrestler. If you think Danielson is a better technical wrestler than Zack Sabre Jr., I just think you're not watching enough Zack Sabre Jr. Because if you say Danielson is a better wrestler than Zack Sabre Jr., go for it. Like, he is a very complete package, Danielson. Mm-hmm. But technical wrestling, there is nobody better on this planet than Zack Sabre Jr. And I hope...
No, one person.
Go on.
Hechicero!
I was about to say.
Hechicero! Come on, man! That man's sweeping the nation right now.
Oh, man.
He can be the best wrestler in, like, Mexico's North America, right? My geography is very bad. If you say
North
America,
no. I'll give that.
Yeah.
Is it? Or the Americas? I don't know. I didn't study geography. But man, yeah, I need Zack Sabre Jr. to win this one after Wrestle Dream. Like, if the story is Danielson won physically with the psycho knee, and the story is now going to be that Zack wins with one of his many roll-ups, or he taps out Danielson, I'm fine for it. But I'm so on board the Zack Sabre Jr. train. I don't see a scenario where he loses here. It's fantasy booking to its finest here. My dream is Zack Sabre Jr. wins this, and then momentum from this, he carries it on, and eventually he is the one that dethrones Tetsuya Naito. I like the idea of Zack Sabre Jr. being the challenger after Sonata, but I also want Naito to have a proper run with the title. It is long, long overdue. But at some point, I would like Zack Sabre Jr. to be the one that dethrones Naito, and he just goes like, you know, maybe makes the final New Japan Cup and loses, because I want Naito to have this run.
Man, we on the same page. You like spitting right now.
The Zack Sabre Jr., the chemistry, the rivalry with Naito, it's so much there. It would be the perfect person to beat Naito. And, you know, him losing the title, surely that is to set up bigger things. Losing the world title is surely to set up bigger things for Zack Sabre Jr. But I need Zack Sabre Jr. to win this. I'm so excited for this to be in front of a Japanese audience as well. I love my Japanese audiences. A big part why I don't watch AEW and WWE. I don't want to hear fight forever. I don't want to hear that stuff. I just want to hear people losing their shit because they're so invested, just going, Zack, Bryan, like just shouting for the people they want to win. There's nothing better than that. No joint chance can defeat that one person that just pierces through the noise because they are just screaming at the top of their lungs for their wrestler to come through. And I need Zack Sabre Jr. to win in Osaka. Please, Gato. Well, more so, please, Tony Khan. Just let the boy take another loss. Like, you're taking Okada, you fucking Jay White, Will Ospreay, just let Zack take this one win, please.
Well, I mean, it's up to Bryan at the end of the day, more than even Tony Khan.
I feel like it was up to Bryan. Bryan would lose every single fucking match he could.
That's true. This is true.
Never win.
This is true. But I think outside of AEW, it's up to Bryan. When he's in the AEW, it's up to Tony Khan. That's why he's beating these guys when they're in AEW, and then when they're in New Japan, that's when he's going to lose. I agree 100% with a lot of the things you said. I think this is the start to Zack Sabre Jr.'s journey to dethrone Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship at Dominion. So that gives Naito a good run. You have the big show. You have the big title change there. That makes sense to me. I think that Zack makes it to the finals of the New Japan Cup to lose to Shota Umino. I think Shota Umino is going to win the New Japan Cup. That's how they should work that. But yeah, I think Zack gets the win, but you got to also set up a third match between these two guys, because that first match was so good that I was like, oh man, they left room for like two more matches. You have Zack get the win with the Zack driver. So
no.
You go. So
birthday present.
Because Zack this whole time has said Bryan didn't really beat me. He beat me with a strike at Wrestle Dream. And now Bryan can say Zack didn't really beat me. He just dropped me on my head. So then that sets the stage for the third match, submission match down the line, whether that be Forbidden Door, whether that be back in Japan. I think that sets the stage for that. So I think Zack gets the win with the Zack driver. Sonal?
Yeah, I mean, we all agree that like Zack should win the title. However, you're all thinking too early. For this to be impactful, Zack has to win the title at a Royal Quest. They're gonna have to make it they're gonna have to make Royal Quest a proper big show and have
He's just gonna lose it at Wrestle Kingdom. Why would you want that?
I'm just saying it'd be nice. Or they can move Royal Quest further up the year. It doesn't have to be in October.
Man, you asking New Japan to change schedules now? We just fantasy book.
Actually, on the match itself, like, yeah, I think Zack's gonna win. I feel like everything he's been talking about backstage, like, this is the thing with New Japan. You have to watch the backstage because this is where you're gonna catch the glimpse of what might happen. And I don't know if anyone's watched the past one, so when Zack's been facing like Taguchi and Honma, his comments there, he's like, I have faced like the master ass and stuff like that. And I think that Zack is at the perfect time to be like elevated to the top now with like Okada and Ospreay going. And yeah, this is going to be amazing. Like, I always put my hands up and say, like, when I first started watching wrestling, I was never a fan of technical stuff. This was mainly because I was watching like WWE. But as soon as I watched like Zack Sabre Jr. matches, that's when I was like, yes, submission wrestling is like, it's like, yeah, probably my favorite because I just think it's so beautiful, especially when people like Zack do it. So I feel like, and linking to what SP3 says, like, yes, that like he's won in AW, but when it comes to New Japan, Okada beat him. So let's have Zack beat him as well. And then yeah, set up like, it depends. Like, are they gonna, if they're gonna do a third one? Because like we said with Okada and Danielson, don't need a third one. We're fine with two. It'll be interesting because we might come out of this match going, no. Have Zack win with a submission and then just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes you don't need another win. You just need the last win. J News, who you got?
I think that we need to be able to definitively say that Zack Sabre Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world, right? So if Bryan has one on him and Zack wins this one, they'd have to go to the rubber match, right? They'd have to get a third one. But with the emergence and the now proliferation of Hechicero, I feel this is me doing my super crazy booking stuff. Zack wins, Hechicero a Fantastica Mania. Then we get the rubber match between Danielson and Zack. Somebody said All In. I think All In would probably be
Nah, man. Y'all guys are wildin'. Y'all ain't going front on Nigel McGuinness, who been waiting a decade to get back into the ring in front of Wembley with Bryan Danielson just for Zack.
At this
when you
point,
got a forbidden door. You got a forbidden door.
No, because
right
forbidden
there.
door is going to be with CMLL. Listen, as long as Nigel gets cleared, I want Nigel versus Bryan. I'm not trying to nix that. I'm just saying they need to do it at a big event in the UK. All In is a big event in the UK. Now, as long as Nigel gets cleared, you get Nigel versus Bryan. Then you do it at Royal Quest, like Sonal said. At the end of the day, you do Bryan versus Zack at Royal Quest 4. But right now, the immediate story is Zack wins against Bryan. Zack needs to get a win against Hechicero. That entrance he had on Rampage with the fire, bruh. Talk about presentation. Anyways,
he's a star.
Just to be able to cement him as the top technical wrestler in the world, he can have that in his bag. He keeps gnawing at Bryan because he has that win, and then he won against Hechicero. Make that more of a story, whatnot. Keep it rolling down the line and see as to what we can get. But yeah, Zacky for the win here. Because it makes the most sense at this point. Yeah, that's
I kind of want J News saying Fantastica Mania as my ringtone. Like, it is beautiful.
I know, I love it.
It is fantastic. It is awesome.
I wait for him to like say it. I pop every
that time of the year. Everyone waits for this time of the year just for J News to say it.
J News to say it. Say the
yes,
word.
The Bart Simpson meme, isn't it? From yeah.
Say it. Dustin said, I just don't see them letting Zack hold the main belt when he isn't a draw compared to your Naitos or Shingo. And that's why I said to Sonal and NK on Ace Techers, I think that Zack wins it at Dominion, but he ain't holding it to Wrestle Kingdom. They should have him lose it after G1 because that's been a big flaw of after G1 for the last couple of years, that nothing happens in the main event scene. There's
Yeah, they
no
do it
shame.
like a King of Pro Wrestling or
It was
something
like
like
AJ
around
Styles was the last person that
Yeah.
went into a G1 as champion and didn't go into Wrestle Kingdom as a champion. He lost it in that gap.
Yep.
And that was probably 2016, maybe?
That's
Like
2015. He
So
left in 2016.
Jesus.
Left in January 2016. So that's
Oh, yeah.
2015.
Yeah,
I
like,
think-
No. Actually, no.
It might
He
be
lost
before.
at Dominion 2015 to Okada. So you're talking about when he lost to Hiroshi Tanahashi
When
in
he lost to
2014, a decade ago.
Yeah.
I get it. I get why not, because it is a big thing instantly. The G1 you've won, and now you know who you're going to go into the main event again. But it would be a nice little change of.
I think
pace.
we've spoken about this, haven't we? We're saying Zack keeps it till like October. Suji beats him.
No,
Oh, no,
I have
Naito
Suji winning the
beats
G1.
Yeah,
Suji
Naito
wins the
beats him.
G1.
None of the Rainbow Musketeers are winning the title this year. You guys are dreaming.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I said. But I said
Wrestle
Suji win the
Kingdom.
G1 to set up Wrestle Kingdom, Suji and Naito for
That's
the
what
title.
SP3's been saying for like,
All right.
ages.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
what I
that
tried to help Gato book that for this year, because Suji should have just came in and won the title.
No, but I think this makes it so if Naito's like winding down next year, have Suji beat him and then have him take over LIJ. Makes a bit more sense story wise. Like we said, we can have Naito have like pretty good, decent runs before, and either they can kick him out of LIJ, or it could be the Naito thing where he's just like, I don't want to do this anymore, and he's still in LIJ,
and he
but
shrugs and leaves.
He just appears in one or two matches. He comes on commentary, annoys Hiromu a bit, because I feel like Naito, out of all people, he can do it where he doesn't get kicked out, because it's just Naito, isn't it?
This is true, but we might see someone get kicked out of a group on this show in the main event. Steel cage matchup, the first steel cage match in New Japan Pro Wrestling in nearly 2 decades. It's going to be 5-on-5 war game style time intervals, as Will Ospreay and David Finlay, the captains, will represent their teams as the first 2 men, and then individual timed entrance for the rest of the individuals, as it's going to be United Empires, Will Ospreay, Jeff Cobb, Catch 2-2, Francisco Akira, TJP, and then finally Hanare versus the Bullet Club War Dogs, the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Alice Coughlin, Clark Connors, and Drilla Maloney, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. So many different stories and feuds in this one matchup. Will Ospreay, his final NJPW match before he leaves to go to AEW. He wanted to leave New Japan as the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, but it was David Finlay who beat him at Wrestle Kingdom. These 2 men have been feuding for the better part of the last 2 years with one another. Then you got Jeff Cobb, who was attacked by Bullet Club War Dogs, coming in with an injury. You got Francisco Akira, who's been really having his doubts and really been the focus of the story of this buildup for this matchup, with his doubts of not really wanting to be in this dangerous steel cage matchup, his doubts to TJP as his tag team partner, who's been flirting with the heavyweight scene, TJP also flirting with becoming the leader of United Empire, and Hanare really kind of just a representative of New Japan and wanting to stay with United Empire, versus everything that is the Bullet Club War Dogs, which is chaos, carnage, and everything else in between. But they have also teased some dissension with little moments in the post-match comments, with David Finlay and Gabe Kidd having a little issue, or Drilla Maloney and Gabe Kidd having little issues. Little tension from underneath, not as obvious as United Empire, but Sonal, I know you've been a big proponent of this rivalry, of the build-up for this matchup. What have you thought? Who do you think wins?
Guys, I don't think people know how much, and I'm gonna hype up one person who, for me, has really made this amazing. Francesco Akira. I can't sing enough praise for, like, since he came to New Japan. I have been singing his praise. He's such a nice guy. Blah 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 blah. But his role in this storyline has set up so many like options. Like, some people were like, it's a bit shitty booking, and I think we discussed it, maybe like the whole section of the fork, which was maybe not great. But for me, it's these small things that showcase what could probably happen in the future. Like, if you think about it, Akira is very young. He has always been Japanese wrestling. So I think it was all Japan before, and now he's here. He has this. For him, the junior tag titles was what he was wanting. That's what he came for. That's what he won. But now suddenly he's got all of the guys in the United Empire having different things. TJ is saying he wants to do both, which to Akira is like, so you're not committed to Catch 2-2. Then you have these guys doing steel cage matches. That's not the wrestling he likes. And while, yes, in one way it makes him look weak, it also shows his strength because he is willing to say, what is happening? I don't want to be part of this. And that, for me, there's two ways that this could go. Akira could suddenly have a revelation, and this would lead to a very extreme Akira leading to a new extreme, the Empire. Maybe under TJP, maybe under someone else. Or maybe even Akira if he gets to that point where he suddenly snaps. Or we go on a route where Akira is the reason that Empire lose. The Empire then, there's two options. Either turn on him and go, we said we are a family. You have not contributed to this family. Turn on him. Or he personally decides to go another way. Now, I personally don't think that if he goes another way, it'll be a heel way. Because they've not built it up, right? And there's no proper heel faction for him. But the idea of Akira basically just flat out just either not doing it or at one point walking off, or maybe even being saved by someone from another faction is something. And like, there's so many components and so many things. But for me personally, like Akira is the star. And like, he is who I'm going to be watching.
Definitely has been carrying the build. We got to give a big shout out to the bounty hunter, Brian Keefe, in our chat here. I think that's great. We got to thank Ciaran for that, because if Ciaran wasn't here,
oh man, Bounty Keefe follows me on Twitter and he always retweets my stuff, and I always want to slide into the DMs, but I don't want to be, too much of a fanboy. But when I saw Bounty Keefe in the comments, I was like, God damn, man, he was just killing it in DDT, man. He's a Universal title match versus Mao. Sweet Dreams was awesome. Like, it's killer to see that dude over in Japan, man. It was awesome.
Just smashed it with Eddie Kingston in his home state of Texas. So congratulations to Brian Keefe, who just became All Elite, got his All Elite graphic, officially signing with All Elite Wrestling. And he also says, wrestled both Bryan and Zack. This should be good.
Yeah, I saw that he got his All Elite graphic. And to quote the great Brian Keefe, AEW paid up. So about that.
Indeed. Jay News, you have been a big fan of the Bullet Club War Dogs, a big fan of United Empire. What have you thought about the build for this matchup? Who do you think wins the case?
There's so much. There's, like Sonal said, there's so much going on with this. So many layers, so many stories. The Akira thing, to me, is akin to the eventuality of Naito's retirement. Like, he's going to walk away from LIJ. They're not going to kick him out, right? I feel like Akira is going to walk away from the United Empire. You know what I'm saying? Just due to everything that's been going on in that regard. On the flip side, someone's going to get knocked the hell out over on the War Dog side. And if somebody keep chirping, I think Gabe's going to put his foot in somebody's ass. That's what I'm going to say. So, for me, this is just going to be a combination of so many different stories in this cage. That's what the cage match was always meant for across any promotion, the culmination of any grand story. So it all ends in whatever the decision of the match is, and then the aftermath of whatever of the match is what we're going to be going towards in the future. So if Akira walks away, if Gabe just turns his back on the War Dogs and does whatever, or if he duffs someone out, whatever works in this estimation is really what it is. Being that it is Will's last New Japan match, if tradition is tradition, I feel like Will takes the pin here. So the War Dogs win. I would assume it would be Finlay to get the pin in some way or fashion. Or, if Gabe's leaving, it could be just Gabe getting the pin here and he might show up somewhere else. I don't know. That's just me fantasy booking. But at the end of the day, because supposedly a lot of the War Dog guys still don't have contracts. So we'll see as to what happens there. But it should be a hell of a match. I just want to see. I want to see Gabe Kidd win. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see in life. I just want to see Gabe Kidd win in life.
You just wish all the goodness on Gabe Kidd.
I just want to see Gabe Kidd win in life, and the young War Dogs, like it's like I was saying before. I don't know what the contract situation is, so I don't know what Clark Connors is going to do. I have no idea what his deal is. I'm not sure what Maloney's deal is. I think he only signed like a 1-year thing or whatever. I don't know what's going on with the majority of those guys over on the Bullet Club War Dog side. But the United Empire thing, it's going to be sad to see Akira walk away. That's just my estimation of it. Because the dude, like Sonal said, he's so young, but he's the emotional thread of that group, right? So I feel like him walking away does something for that group. And then it's like, who then steps up to be the leader? With the emotional thread of the group now gone, or essentially gone, who steps up to be the leader? Okan doesn't want to do anything with it or whatever, and he's not involved in the match. And then it's like, is it going to be Jeff? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know? And then TJP over here being the Filipino dead man. I don't know what he want to do.
Filipino dead man.
That goes hard, man. Filipino dead man. Oh, it's getting on a shirt.
Yo, immediately, like I was saying, Filipino fiend, but the Filipino dead man, that works too. And also, thanks, Ryan. Brian keeps saying in the chat, thanks for the love and support, and for the 4 great human beings doing this preview, and everyone in the chat. Bless. This man's awesome. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate the love. But Ciaran, who do you think's gonna win? What have you thought about the great story leading up to this cage match on Sunday?
I think Sonal and Jonas both dead on the money. Like Akira is the star going into this match. I forget this is Will Ospreay's last match. It's crazy because
I don't think I even mentioned him, and I feel bad when I was saying that.
Is Akira gonna step up to the moment? Like backstage, Hanare's trying to get him to be a man, get tough, get ready, or is he gonna break under the pressure? Is he gonna switch sides and go with the War Dogs? Is he just gonna leave United Empire? Like I said at the top of this show, I don't think these factions leave the same way they came in. And I think with Ospreay going as well, you were like, does United Empire even exist after New Beginning in Osaka? Because if Ospreay's going, and if Akira decides this isn't for him, that's 2 of the guys gone, and they're kind of the heartbeat of the group. Like Francesco Akira is wildly popular, and then you've got TJP saying he's going to be a heavyweight as the R swung, and Akira's like, what do you mean, bro? We were at the time they were tag team champions. Like, yeah, what's going on? Like they're doing like Akira's heart must be all over the place, and he's doing a fantastic job of it as well. Like we saw how much of a babyface this kid can be when he had the El Desperado match in the Best of Super Juniors. Absolutely, like perfect babyface in that match. But yeah, I think the intrigue with this match starts straight away. Do we get the R swung? Does TJP come out with a full regalia? Because this is the moment to bring him out. Yep. And half of these guys are going into this. Like half of these guys are probably not signed to a contract, and the other half of the guys are working injured. Drilla Maloney's got a torn bicep, for God's sake. Gabe Kidd and Hanare were pulled off the show following their match, whether that was kayfabe or not, I don't know. Jeff Cobb injured. There's so many moving parts to this match, and we're not even talking about the fact that these are 10 top tier guys. Like there's not a weak link in this match. Like these are all guys that can put on banger matches, whether they're in singles, tag, or 10-man cage matches. There's no. I'm just so excited from the match itself, from the story standpoint. This is just the perfect storm going into this. I think War Dogs do get the win because I see something. United Empire are going to have a big fallout from this in some capacity, whether it's we're going to stick together and stay strong in loss, or we lost, we fucked it, we had a good run, guys, let's call it quits. I see something happening there, and the War Dog story I think has a lot more in it. Like they're starting to drop the little bits, like with Gabe getting pissed off at Finley, telling him to shut the fuck up and stuff like that. And they know they've got so much fuel. I feel like they're very aware that David Finley isn't the leader the fans want. They're playing on it. Yeah, they're playing on it. They're not stupid.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to see, because we've been talking about this for months now. At least me, I've since day one, I put down the idea of David Finlay being the freaking leader of the Bullet Club at all. But to be fair, being that he is in that spot, that's his place right now, right? Especially now being the IWGP Global Champion and whatnot. You use that to your advantage, right? If you know how to book this right, if you know how to tell a decent story, you use it to your advantage. To Ciaran's point, they have layers to this now Bullet Club War Dog story, so they can stagger this for the next couple of months. But the other side of the coin is, are these guys going to continue to work without deals? The business end of it, the real life business end of it. Are these guys just going to continue to go to Japan, get their one shots, and continue on? Or do they want some sort of financial stability or knowing where they're going to go in the future? You know what I'm saying?
There is a part of me as well that wonders, because it was literally like every War Dog except from David Finlay, it came out that their contract was up.
Right.
Yeah.
How much are they sowing the seeds to add more drama to this match, or are there deals that are genuinely up? I know one person, I won't say who, contract legitimately is up.
Yeah.
But the other, like, I was when Fightful, I think, reported that Drilla Maloney's contract was up. I was like, he was working with a contract. I was like, New Japan usually take a good while before they give someone a contract. How long was Aussie Open work with New Japan before they got a contract offer? And they're not shy about putting titles on people that aren't under contract.
Right.
Like Minoru Suzuki historically has never signed a New Japan contract. And he was IWGP Intercontinental Champion. So I was really shocked when Drilla, of all people, had a contract. I assume it would just be, we'll pay you for this tour, we'll pay you for this tour, and stuff like that. So there is that little bit seed of doubt of how much of it's kayfabe, how much of it's truth, but there's definitely some truth within the kayfabe at least.
Yeah, I do know, like, most of the New Japan contracts, they run through the end of January, so they can do anything, through, Wrestle Kingdom and the New Beginning tour most of the time. But
I've spoken to one person in this match who is definitely working without a contract. They've agreed to do extra dates, and their contract finishes at the end of January, and they're still trying to figure something out.
Yeah, I think that's a big factor of why I am picking the United Empire to win this one. I think United Empire. United Empire win, and then after the match, we get the answer of who's the leader moving forward. We get the big dramatic Will Ospreay farewell speech, and he basically, it's like the end of the movie Hook, where Peter Pan had to make one of the kids the leader of the group. And that's Will Ospreay playing the role of Peter Pan.
I never
when
I joined this SP3, when I agreed to join this preview, I never in my wildest dreams thought we would compare the cage match with the War Dogs to Peter Pan.
The Hook is a classic.
I like how I'm you're saying this, and I've got my Peter Pan like artwork there. So.
It seems to be in certain circles that movie is controversial.
It shouldn't be. It's a classic.
Hey man, listen. I got no dog in this fight, man. Got no dog.
Robin Williams, his best movie ever. And shout outs to Brian Keefe, because I legitimately was going to ask him who he thinks was going to win, but I didn't want to put him on the spot. And he answers it for me anyway. Brian says, that clam digger Bryan Danielson stole my moment Friday. ZSJ to slay the dragon. I love it. He's going with ZSJ. We also got Nikki Boy in the chat says bonus points for the Hook reference. Thank you so much. We also got Nikki Boy. He says R.I.P. Robin Williams. Thank you.
Do you think, random question, because you're saying like, Ospreay will pick the leader. Do you not see any idea of someone just like jumping him at the end? Or is that not like an Empire thing? Or is that like are we sticking that's basically like a Bullet Club thing?
If this was David Finlay's final match, that's how I would expect it to end. Is they lose and then all the Bullet Club War Dogs jump David Finlay out of the group. But I think United Empire to pick up the win, but I'm very excited. Talking about it with you guys made me even more excited. So I want to thank J News, Sonal, and most of all, our special guest, Ciaran. Thank you so much for joining us today. Want to give you the floor. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media, what you got going on, WrestleInn, Fightful, Overbook, and everywhere else.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at KieranRH93, posting lots of tweets, lots of clips, lots of GIFs, everything I can get away with that TV Asahi won't burn me for again. Over at WrestleInn, WrestleInn, doing podcasts, doing shows, doing tons of stuff, written articles, interviews, hopefully one coming out with Jocko Pro very, very soon. And yeah, lastly, over on Fightful Overbooked as part of Red Club, Fightful Overbooked, only New Japan entirely dedicated show to New Japan. So yeah, one of those 3 places.
Absolutely. And I think Big Man Dog's saying what's on Ciaran's mind. Yeah, people have to watch that Kid Hanare match if they haven't already. Sonal, let everybody know where they can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at wrestling_chat. That's basically where you'll find me and everything I'm doing. Obviously, on Ace Techers. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sonal's Live. I'm not the most consistent, but when we have big shows, I will be there. And like Sunday, I will have a review for the whole show out that day. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna have reviews, previews, everything. And yeah, I am fully New Japan. So if you want someone to catch up with everything, make sure to subscribe to my channel.
I love Brian Keefe is just dropping gems in the chat. He says, I don't like to spoil things, but I have a good friend who lives in the United Kingdom, and he thinks that TJP is going to turn on United Empire. And he says, if you didn't know, all the War Dogs were members of the LA Dojo with TJP. That is a good note. That is a good note to mention.
Good note. Yeah.
It's a good note. It's a good note. I just feel like the Aswan presentation doesn't necessarily fit the Bullet Club too well, and I like what he went with there. But if this happens, man, oh man, another layer, another story. New Japan might have something on their hands.
We're going to be so disappointed when this match just ends 1, 2, 3, and that's it.
Nothing happened. Nothing that we have speculated.
No, but I feel like if TJP does go to the Bullet Club or something like that, then you really cement United Empire as like the babyface, even with Ospreay going.
You set up years of story with Akira versus TJP too, like as the marquee match in the junior heavyweight division.
Like you could set up Akira being the Bullet Club War Dogs, like he's going after them like the rest of his career. Like,
anyone that does a hunter gimmick, it never works out. We had Yoshitatsu was a Bullet Club hunter, wasn't Frankie Kazarian,
the Elite Hunter. No.
It's a doomed gimmick. Let's not put that on Akira. I like Akira. He's a really good guy.
J News, let everybody know where they can follow you, sir.
Yeah, man, y'all can check me out on the Twitter machine, man. You know, and I comment on there from time to time and whatnot. Drop some tweets about some movies and some podcasts and things of that nature. It's been a real interesting month for me. So I'm just trying to get things in order to get back to life with some normalcy in life, should I say. But we should be back for the review show here sometime next week. That's my hope. And if not, you can always catch me at the Workhorse Wrestling Network on Monday mornings, me and Dolores doing the damn thing. And as always, thanks for watching, folks. And, my hope here is for this show is that Gabe Kidd beats the crap out of David Finlay. And that's about all I got.
There you go. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. I will be back here tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the True Hill Heat flagship podcast to talk all about the WrestleMania press conference that Ciaran mentioned earlier, The Rock's heel turn, Corporate Rock. Corporate High Chief is back with us. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the flagship, so join us for that. Check out AE Ramble from yesterday. Check out our WrestleMania press conference watch-along that we did yesterday as well. And until then, for Sonal, for J News, for Ciaran, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our new beginning in Osaka preview. We are signing off until next time. Peace, y'all.